October, surprisingly, we were in the negative. Yeah, October was a rough month.
How does an agency go from profiting $40,000 a month for 6 consecutive months to suddenly losing money last month? That's the exact question I'll be answering in this video, where I review my client's P&L and give him the exact steps that he needs to take in order to become profitable again. If you don't know who I am, my name is Ravi Abuvala. I'm the founder of Scaling with Systems, where we build end-to-end custom marketing systems for coaches, course creators, agencies, and online service providers. I make these types of videos because too many people are owned by their business instead of owning a business, and I don't want you to be one of them. At any point during this video, if you want our help in scaling your coaching, course creator, agency, or online service-based business, be sure to book a call with me below.
Anything in particular you want me to look at, or you just want me to look at it overall?
Overall, and then number maybe like the increases in, like, fulfillment, advertising, any areas where you can see where I can try to lean up on in the mostly in the Q3 and Q2. October, surprisingly, we were in the negative. Yeah, October was a rough month. A lot of changing, moving parts. So
Okay, my recommendation right off the bat would be to create an additional one way, either a column or a row, and I would do percentage change from last month to this month, right? So that'll give you a better idea of like, you're like, hey, it's increasing, my fulfillment's increasing. What percentage is increasing, and you can see it sooner. And then the second one I would add is a percentage of total revenue. So, like, for example, I think that labor should be like roughly 30% of your total cash that you're taking in. And so you can, if you set that KPI, you can, as you know, in Google Sheets, have conditional formatting in there that if that's like 35%, it's red, right? And that lets you know immediately, kind of like a good KPI, a dashboard tracking sheet. I need to look and see what's going on in that area there. It also will give you a better understanding if, let's say, for example, you're at 25% and you want to scale, you have 5%, let's say, just for easy numbers, you make $100,000 a month. That's $5,000 in payroll that you can either give to someone on your team, or better yet, you can find somebody else. Hey, where's the biggest bottleneck in the company right now? It's actually in, I don't know, in ads. I'm running all the ads. I'm shooting all the creatives. You could spend $5,000 a month on somebody else to do that for you.
Does that make sense?
yeah, 100%.
And in a business like yours, because people usually ask me this question, labor is typically going to be 30 to 40%, and then your marketing is going to be anywhere from like 20 to 40%, right? And then you should have like very nominal fees after that, but you're primarily going to be paid advertising, and so that's going to be marketing / paid ads is going to be a considerable part of the budget.
Got it. Cool.
So scroll up real quick.
Can I request remote control?
Yeah, 100%. And let me know if you want any clarification on the line items. For example, a subcontractor team in COGS is contractors, which is closers.
Cool.
Yep.
I don't necessarily know if I would put cost of goods sold in subcontractors in that. Did somebody tell you to do that?
No, I did it.
Cost of goods sold is typically the cost of fulfillment,
Right.
Not the cost of selling it. That goes underneath.
payroll, or marketing.
Okay.
It's not like the cost to sell the good. It's once you've sold the good, what is the cost that you have now taken on board?
Right.
So it'd be fulfillment as an example. Do you pass on your merchant processing fee to your clients?
No, I don't.
That's something I'd recommend doing right away. I paid like $380,000 a few years ago for merchant processing fees. I was like, wow, this is the last time I'll ever do that. So your legality of where you are, but in the United States, as long as you tell the client, hey, we're invoicing you, it's going to include the 3% merchant processing fee, it's totally legal. So that's an immediate 3% profit, like $3,000 this October, $3,400 the month before. I mean, that's could be rent for you. You know what I mean? Like, that's totally paid for just by passing on to your clients. And I used to think that people were going to push back, they're going to have a problem with it, but 3% to you is a lot of money. 3% to them, and that is nothing if they're making a high ticket purchase. So if you can, I would recommend trying to pass it along to your clients.
Got it. And in the sales process, like when price dropping and everything, like
very easy. Oh, great, it's going to be $3,500 a month. Okay, yeah. Objection handle. Okay, great, I'm ready to move forward. Cool. We can either do an ACH and set you up direct deposit, or we'll do the credit card, and there's just a 3% processing fee.
Okay, got it.
And then, of course, if someone pushes back and all right, you can waive the 3% processing fee if you wanted to do it. But, I'd say that less than 10% of people will ever say anything about it. I mean, we went like 3 months with nobody ever saying anything about it. Like it was shocked at how much people didn't really care.
Got it. And like, do you recommend rolling this out with new clients that we're bringing on board, or even with
Yeah,
current
I
clients?
wouldn't do it for any current
Yep.
clients in there. Yeah, that'll be a little bit harder to do, but definitely new clients as
Yep.
you bring them on board.
Yep.
What's commission for salespeople?
30%.
30% for a salesperson for every month or first month?
Just first month.
That's right there. That's a red flag I'm going to give you right here. I would totally lower that, way lower. You're eating way too much into your ability to be profitable for the ads. Yeah, I would move it to 15% and 15%. If could, like, so they'll still get 30%, but just by allowing you to not be so because you have a decent lifetime value between month 1 and 2. So it's not
Yeah.
like you're lose out on that money. So a great example of this is inside the book Sales Acceleration Formula. They talk about, I think it was HubSpot, but all the salespeople were selling people, and after the first month, they would leave. And so all they did was they changed the comp structure to only pay after they stay after the end of the second month. And all of a sudden, it went from like 90% of people leaving the first month to 90% of people leaving the second month. Right? All they did was they changed the comp structure for it. So for you, yes, are you going to get flack and pushback? Sure. But once again, this is how you phrase things. And they're like, okay, this is how we take the business to the next level. I can't, every time we close a deal, I can't just give 30% right off the bat straight to you. That's not going to be a way that I grow, because that's 30% top line, and if you're running at 50% margins, that's 60% bottom line revenue that you're giving away as soon as you close a deal. So realistically speaking, I would definitely figure out 15% the first month. And then if they stay the second month, you'll get 15% of that as well.
Got it.
Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Immediately between that and the merchant processing, we just gave you 18% top line. And I don't know what we'll get into your net income, but could be 20 or 36% bottom line that we just gave back to you, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Any questions or pushback on that?
No, no pushback. Maybe I might have some like, I mean, you answered it already, but as I get ready to push it to the sales team, like maybe just like how I could phrase it out.
It's almost always like, dude, I took our salespeople from 15% to 12.5%. I took them from like they get paid no matter what to we'll call back their deals if somebody refunds. Like it's like the same thing with clients. When you first close deals, lifetime off access, you're getting the ball rolling. But at a certain point, you do identify like, okay, if I'm trying to have a stable long-term business and not what 90% of the business in our industry are, which is like they're up for a year and they're gone the year after that,
Right.
you got to really start treating this like a true business. And there are things that you can do, like you can create bonuses or ways that they can make it up otherwise. But if they're really with you for the long run and you phrase it as like, look, I'm not trying to take this money and go home with it, but you guys might not know this, but I don't know what you just said a second ago, but it's like in September, we lost money, and I can't really do that long. So if you guys want a long-term position here and I just reinvest the money back into ads, and as you can see the data, 70% of our people actually stayed a month 2 anyway, you guys really shouldn't see that big of a drop in your commissions. And it allows us to scale a lot faster.
Got it. Okay. And let's say, just playing devil's advocate, right? Like, Hamza, you're cutting my monthly commissions in half almost. What if they don't stay the second month?
Then you got to ask your question, what's more important to you, a good closer or a profitable business? And you could say, hey, we're going to phase it out this month. The next month, December, it's going to be the same thing, right? The month after that, it'll be 20%, and the month after that, it'll be 15%.
Got it. Okay. No,
that's only if you felt. For me personally, I just ripped the Band-Aid. But if you felt like there was gonna be flack, or you felt like it was gonna be a bad thing, or something like that, it's the holidays, whatever reason you want to give yourself a justification, you can slowly wind it out. But another thing that people can't ever argue with is numbers, right? So if you were to say, okay, that other 15%, let's say that I invest 10% of the 15% into paid ads. If I did that based on last month's numbers, we would have this many more deals coming in, and so you would actually be taking home more money because you would have this much more money from front-end cash. Plus, we know 70% of those people pay for month 2. And so then you'd have that other 15% coming in month 2.
Got it. Show the numbers. Yeah, I think I like that. I like that.
And like, if someone's really a true salesperson and they're in business, they should understand, dude. Like, I don't know anybody that has a 30% commission that is in business for very long. You know what I mean? And then what's your setter commission?
Setter commission is 10% of closed deals. And
so you got a setter booking a call with you and you're giving away 40% of your top line revenue as soon as they close the deal.
Yeah. technically, yeah.
All right, so since we're talking about it, let's see here. So 94,000, and so this was obviously last month was negative. Let's do 44,000 and 109,000. So almost exactly 50%, 40%. So if you're giving away 40% top line, you're technically giving away 80% bottom line revenue. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
That's the scary part to look at. That's why when like after tax money, it always scares me shitless if I ever lose after tax money, because that's like, pretty much 50%. So if I lose $1 million after tax money, I have to make $2 million gross revenue to essentially come back with $1 million after tax. I sense a little hesitation. Does this make sense to you or what?
No. This makes sense. No, I'm just like, yeah, shit. Got to change up the comp structure. And so, what do you recommend for the setter?
What do you have base salary? If you have base salary, I'm gonna come work for you as a setter. If you say you also have base salary.
No, I don't have base salary.
Okay.
It's $50 per appointment set that shows, and just 10% of closed deals.
So what was the $50 last month? What did you pay out for the setter?
I believe like only about like 1,500 or 1,000, something like that.
And then what do they make from the commissions?
So this is their first full month. So last month it was only about 2 weeks. So halfway into this month it was about their pay at 2 weeks was 1,750. So they got 3 closed deals, and about like whatever the rest is through sets that showed.
So 1,750 times 2 is 3,500 roughly that they're gonna get.
17. Wait, say that one more time.
1750 times 2.
No, 1,750. Like their total like pay.
To them.
Yeah, but I thought you said that was 2 weeks in they had 1,750.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So if you had 2 more weeks,
Oh,
like
yeah. Yep. About 35. Yeah, 3,500.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm being quite honest with you, that's kind of par. I actually don't know if I would touch that too much. That seems like the right amount of money. I don't know if you're going to get a good setter for less than $3,500, in my eyes, I would rather just pay them a base salary and then a percentage of the sales. Like you just want to back into it. But maybe if you wanted to make a change, what I might do is just do the salespeople first. That definitely should change. The setters, maybe I would wait until like how much did one of your salespeople make last month?
Last month one of them made like right around 7,000.
Okay. How much did you make last month?
How much I made?
yeah.
October. I didn't make anything right here. The month
I-
before.
I knew what that was. I was doing that purposely.
Yeah.
And look,
I will always pay my team before I pay myself, which is what you did, and that's respectable. But you can't do that for very long before you run out of fucking money. You know what I mean?
You're
So,
right. You're
You're
right.
here for the long haul for sure. So I just wanted to drive that point home.
100%. 100%.
So in my eyes, then I would maybe leave the setters as is right now because you just don't have enough volume where they're making it. But $3,500 to $5,500 for a setter to me is a really good position to be in because it's a shitty job, but it's also not like super high skill wise. You know what I
Right.
mean? So
Right.
I think that that's totally fine. I would probably adjust the salesperson, leave the setter, and then once the setter started getting a little out of whack with that comp structure, you can adjust that again in the near future.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, the closers I definitely got to take action on. So you're cool with doing 15% month 1, 15% the other 15% in month 2, right?
Yeah, I
they
mean, personally, I would try to just do 15%. That's I don't once again. I mean, it's $3,500, but like, how long is your sales cycle? Do you know?
No, I don't. I don't have a number on that.
Do you know based on your numbers, is this going to be a better month than last month?
Yeah, we definitely closed more deals. Better than last month, negative 4K. Yeah.
well,
I meant top line. Top line.
Top line, we're gonna be right around like 110, 109. So
Which is
same.
what you did last. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, 94. So it'll be 20% increase.
Yeah, we're at like 99 right now, and waiting on 2 more renewals or 3 more renewals, and have 5 more deals in the deck.
Okay. I'll talk about advertising in 1 second.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do it, you might as well rip the Band-Aid. I might do 15% month 1, 10% month 2, something like that. So it's still net good for you. It's not such a rip off of them. And you can, because you're really just protecting your cash flow. That's really what you need to be doing, right? Like, because the 30%, they're still technically getting paid out the same amount, but you and I both already established that's technically double. So that's 60% of your bottom line. So I think that 30% is still a little high. So, maybe next month you do the same thing if you'd like, or you can rip the Band-Aid. I don't know what your relationship with your team is and what they are. So that's the culture of your company. At our company, I would honestly just say this is what it is. And I have done that before in the past because everyone here has bought in the long-term vision. And also I have the track record of having a company that's much longer than anybody else in our industry has. Most people aren't aren't around this long, right? So, and now I'm not saying take advantage of people. I live for my team members, and
I get you, bro.
I don't have to say that. Yeah, you get that.
Yeah.
So I would say maybe this month, obviously paid off. You decide about next month, and then 15 and 10 or 15 and 5. You make that decision. Obviously, the closer to the lower amount, the better off you're going to be. But if you're proving that you're getting them more deals and you're like that volume's coming in, then they should end up making roughly what they're making right now. But once again, you just frame it as like, okay, I can't have many months that I'm negative $4,000 in the hole. Like, you guys made money, and you can know that I will always pay you first, and I'll always have a cash emergency reserve. But I'm here not to work for free. I'm here to make a business that's highly profitable and that scales. And I need the margin to be able to do that.
Right. I agree. I will.
You make the decision. 15 and something, 15 and then 5 to 15. You make that, really 5 to 10, but you make that decision. The other thing I asked about your sales cycle could be interesting for you to calculate that. You might even just use ChatGPT. You could have done it in a few seconds. But the thing I would look at is, you spent $10,000 more. So it really was that 100%, 120% more on advertising in October than you did in September. You didn't see an increase in money in October, but that's almost always because your sales cycle is going to be longer than that 30-day window, right?
Yeah.
So it's going to be easy for you to think, oh, I need to jerk back on ad spend right now because, I was unprofitable last month. But then if you realize that your sales cycle is 40 days and you probably, let's just say, I'm assuming you really increased the ad spend at the end of October or something like that, then that you're not going to really see that money until middle to late November, which is what you're kind of starting to see right now.
Yeah, no, I'll get that calculator.
I could be mistaken, so don't just take my word for it. That's what the data is going to be for, right? In the past 50 deals you've done, what's the average sale from ads? What's the average sales cycle? And that'll give you a better understanding.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, is that all ads?
Yeah, I think so. And I mean, on ads, do you think I should just keep on pushing? I know we're in the heat of scaling up right now.
Yeah, I mean, I would maintain the six. Once again, now you're going to be more profitable because you're making these economic changes. The only thing I would say is before I started scaling, I would figure out your average sales cycle length on ads. Oh, Ads Manager says 12.6, not 17.
Oh, I just saw your message, Rambo. Yeah, in October, I think is when I recorded that video, and that was like 4K, like and some other ads, VSL and all that. So that, yeah, 12 plus 4, somewhere around there.
And final thing is we're a little bit over time, but final thing, fulfillment. What's this cost? What break me that down for me?
Yeah, fulfillment is SMS. So we send like almost like, I mean, so our operation is a bit similar to. I'm not sure if you no, yeah, so we're sending like quite a few, like above 1 million text messages cumulatively, so that's about like 10 or 12, and then the rest is like about I need to see why it rose this much. I need to look into it, but it should be stabilizing around 2010 about coming from SMS, and the other half is coming for data, like just buying data for the clients.
Got it. Yeah, so like if your revenue actually lowered and your costs increase 50%, that's a red flag for me. Is like, let me look into why that number is like that. And that's also what the benefit of having that percentage change column inside of there. That's what that benefit is like. Okay, percentage change top line decreased by 15%, percentage change bottom line increased by 50%. You know that you need to stop what you're doing and figure that out ASAP. And I don't know what negotiations you can do with Twilio if there's anything like that, but almost always if you're doing that kind of volume, you can typically try to figure out either the data or Twilio. You can typically negotiate some kind of lower rates with that.
We're actually rocking with TextGrid. They're the cheapest in the industry, and unfortunately the reason why they're actually Twilio is about like a cent. TextGrid is at 0.0035, so they're the cheapest in the industry. The reason why we're not taking advantage or like benefiting from that is due to the 10 DLC registrations, and that is a bit tricky to do like with what we're doing, which is cold texting. But good news, we just got a campaign approved for one of our clients through some tactics, so we're just gonna have to roll that out, and if we get all of our clients approved, then we're gonna be taking benefit of that 0.0035, which is gonna cut almost like in half.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, but definitely if your sales decrease and that increase, something's weird's going on there. So
yeah, I will.
And who manages this for you? Or do you enter this information or somebody else?
This P&L right here?
Yeah.
My bookkeepers, they do.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah. I saw a video like where you were talking about like how just, keeping track of the P&L almost on like a day-to-day basis. Like, do you recommend doing that or
Like,
I don't necessarily look at the P&L on a day-to-day basis. I look at all my bank accounts and my credit cards on a day-to-day
Mm.
basis. So like
Got
that's
it.
really looking at the P&L. I wouldn't want to type any numbers in, but definitely part of my flow. I have an Asana task every day, which is to check Asana, to check Slack, and to check my finances. So, and I also have 6 team members that all have a credit card. So that's the other reason why I do it, because I'll like, what the hell is this charge from? And my girlfriend has a credit card, my mom has a credit card. So I'm also just making sure that like people aren't blow my money somewhere.
But
got it?
But it is, I do, for me at least, some kind of the same thing I told you earlier with the salespeople, like how you do one thing is how you do everything.
Right.
Like, so if I were to measure this, I was doing that since I had literally $1,000 in my bank account to where I am right now. To me, it's just a healthy habit to like make sure I know what the cash flow is coming in and coming out. Like, it also allows you to be a little bit quicker on your reaction time, because I don't know about your bookkeeping, but mine, they typically publish it 15 to 17 days after the end of the month.
Yeah.
And so it's like, that's a pretty long ass time to be not knowing where we're standing on it. So that kind of gives you a little bit of a sooner pulse on it.
Yeah, no, I agree. And my time right now is like about 20 days into. So yeah, I
Yeah.
need to start doing that. Yeah.
I would definitely figure out something a little bit sooner. And ironically enough, actually last night, I used ChatGPT, but I use a bookkeeping company and a software that has this all on their stuff. But I actually created something very similar to this in Google Sheets, literally last night. And I'm going to start having my executive assistant do it 2 days after the beginning of the month, because I'm tired of waiting until the 16th to figure out what the numbers are. Even though I'm
Right.
looking at it on like a day-to-day basis, I want to do my own numbers. And then, the thing that we give to my CPA and the long-term stuff, that can be what I pay the bookkeeper for. But like immediately, for example, the 20,000 to 31,000, imagine that extrapolated at scale, at the numbers we're doing. If that could be a huge amount. And then by the time I get the number, it's 20 days in, it's the holidays, I don't see it till 27 days in. Well, I just spent another month overpaying whatever the hell that I was paying for before. And that's all
Right.
the money that I could have lost if I fixed it earlier. Same thing with the sales commissions, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and that split of like the 15-15 or 15-10, whatever, right? Like is that more so kind of like actually saving on profitability for that month, or more so just kind of spreading that out?
Because
It's
if we're
spreading cash flow out. You always want to, technically speaking, if it was 15 and 15, you wouldn't be saving a dime. But
Yeah.
I mean, you could actually be saving a dime, because if they don't pay their second month, then you would pay 15 after they paid the second month. So if they didn't pay the second month, then you're not on the hook for the other 15. Does that make sense?
Right,
Cool.
yeah.
So technically that is saving you money, but no, in business, you'll learn this as you go. If you haven't already, like obviously cash flow is king. So for example, we're about to migrate to HubSpot. It makes sense at a certain level, like just to have everything inside one. And like we've been going back and forth for weeks with them. And like the first amount they gave us was unbelievably high. And we negotiated. And finally we got down to this number that I wanted. And it was an annual. And I told Shane to call them today and tell them we'll do that if they do it if they divide that number by 12 and do it monthly. And I could have paid the annual, but if you can get the same price of something that you would annual monthly, or even if it's just like a slight percentage decrease, you'll always have a greater arbitration. So I'll give you the final thought process here. You pay the salesperson 30%. That's 15% that month of top line revenue. So let's just, for easy numbers, say it's $10,000. Let's say that your cost per acquisition is $1,000. These are all easy numbers. So you're giving that salesperson that $15,000, which would be 15 clients that you could have instead put into ads and acquired that month, versus waiting until like the next month or the month after that to do that. So it's all about arbitration. Like same thing with taxes. Sometimes I don't pay my quarterly tax because sure, the IRS, now I pay it because the interest is so high, but the IRS is like, oh, I'm going to fine you 4% if you don't pay me the taxes. Well, I'm like, cool. I get 300% return on my ad spend. So I'd rather just put the money in the ads if I knew that the money was coming back. So it's a little bit advanced stuff, but just as overall business health is concerned, you really just always want to try to mitigate your risk by having as much cash flow on a month-to-month basis as possible.
Got it. Okay, I know what to do.
It also incentivizes salespeople to close people who are going to be there for 2 months. It also incentivizes people to stay with you longer. If they left, then they're not going to be able to get their second month commissions, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So you want, like, we pay out all of our executive team, they get paid out quarterly for all their bonuses. I used to pay them out monthly, but first of all, it was a fucking nightmare every month calculating all the bonuses. And second of all, I could pay somebody a fat check and they could leave the next day, right? Where at least quarterly, it's like, okay, if they had to leave, it would be in this transitionary period. That would be a little bit better than like on the first of a random month.
Let me know in the comment section down below if you enjoyed this video, and if you are a coach, consultant, course creator, agency owner, or online service provider, and you want our help scaling your business, building end-to-end marketing systems, identifying bottlenecks or unprofitable areas like I did in this video, then please go below this video and book a call to speak with myself, one of our team members, where we'll walk you through exactly what the process is.